Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Just finishing off the quarterfinals here of the Rookie Tournament, and we have Dark Magician versus Sky Briggs. So the map's Ice Lake, both playing Wookiees. We've got Magician here in the orange, and then we've got Sky Briggs over here in the purple. And looking at the food on this map, not too much of it, just a couple of nerfs and some berries. Kind of a low food start, a bit of a slow ramping tech level 1 for both players here. So I'm going to have to speed it up, I think, to make it through that misery. So they're going to have to eat the nerfs, then get food processor, eat the berries, and then it's just going to have to be farms from there. Not really much opportunities for food elsewhere. There's some Koopas here, but the distance is just way too far. There's a few over here which are sort of munchable, but it doesn't look very consistent, this map, for the players here in terms of the extra food. But I don't think any of these Koopas will probably end up getting eaten. Not really much else to say, is I just wait for things to happen. I don't really know if I've really seen much of these players. I can't remember too much. But as I said, this is the Rookie Tournament, so the gameplay is not all up to scratch. As we can see, Dark Magician building his food processor here rather than right next to the berries, which would have been fine. It might be slightly better for farms in the long run, but this is just going to slow his food income drastically. Bit of a better placement here for Sky Briggs, right up next to the berries. A lot of nice space here for placing farms and stuff if you can get a nice wall off. And as I said before, this is the Rookie Tournament. It's been held on our Discord server, which you'll find a link to in the description below if you want to come in and get involved or see what's going on there. Just a Discord for, well, this game doesn't have much of a following, but it's easier to keep everyone together and try and organise stuff just to keep it alive, because it is like a 20-year-old game that time has absolutely forgotten. So you see the farms getting placed here for Magician. Get himself housed at the same time. Tricky business. Two workers there desperately trying to get the shelter up there so they can keep the worker production going. Bit of idols here for Sky Briggs. He's just getting his farms placed now. I'll have a quick look at the worker counts and see how these two are measuring up and how consistent they're being. You see that Briggs here has really been forgetting to queue up workers now and again, or not getting the food in on time, so he's 2 workers behind already, which isn't going to spell well for him going forward into the game if his opponent's going to be ahead by that much. Don't know what this worker's up to. Nowhere near any of the trees that are being mined. A decent little wall developing here for Sky Briggs, which is good to see. I always want to be proactive with your building placement. Create defensive lines just to give yourself time. Even doing that ahead of time and planning it out is just really good for you. You see prefab here. It's going to start building a wall, I think, for Magician. As I said, this is a very slow T1 because of the lack of food. This seems to be a rally point ever for Sky Briggs. It looks like he's playing Brood War. Just got to select the workers at the bottom of the command center every time. A bit of a farm lead here for Magician, and with the 2 workers that he's ahead, he will probably get to T2 quicker than his opponent. You see that Briggs has sort of fallen into a trap where he's just hyper focused on building this wall when he needs to, like, every 2 of these houses could be a farm, which could be getting his food rapidly up to 500 to go up the next tech level. And he probably only really needs like these 3 houses. So that's like 3 farms or so that he's denied himself. So really slowing himself down, and that's why we can see that Magician's so far ahead. You can see he only needs 4 or 5. He's got a couple extra. Up to about 7 houses here. Early Nova as well. Ugh. Power core first. Ugh. Painful watch. To get the basics right. You're really focused on walling. Could definitely wall this and this for a T3. Oh, that's annoying though. Oh, let this work. Probably don't need to do that though in these rookie matchups, because I don't think the pressure that comes from the opponents is ever too much to worry about. I think in a lot of circumstances the players could just practice going T3 and do very well. There's a spaceport being dropped here for Dark Magician. The other side of things is Briggs on his way to T2. He is, he's almost there. So I think both of them are just going to straight up T3. Which is not too bad of a choice when you've had to build all these farms, because you do end up with a lot of food quickly. Just because the amount that's required to get to T2 would leave you with like 300, 400 food when you go into T2. So it's kind of easy to T3 off the back of it. It's just like it's not set up as very good for rushing, because of the difference between the food and the carbon. Like a lot of your carbon's tied up in farms already. But both buildings down here for Sky Briggs, both buildings for Magician. Is he on his way to T3 yet? He is, he's doing fine there, that's good. He's going to be quite ahead here of Briggs, who's not quite clicked the button yet. He's got a lot more Nova than he needs. And there he goes, he's got the amount now. He's got both buildings, just needs to click it, there you go. But he's going to have to soak up a bit of pressure, I think, from his opponent. He's going to get there a little bit quicker than him. As we can see, snapping back, looking at the bar here. I'd be interested to take a quick look. See if we're remembering. We are remembering our upgrades, that's good. How about Briggs? Not remembering the farm one, but let's get the carbon one, that's fine. Just curious to see if people are upgrading their economy on the right T3. It's an air base and a mech factory. The Magician's going to sort of split the offense between the air, the mechs. Both sort of require different counters. Very good to trip your opponent up, particularly early on. The best thing that you can do with any early aggression is make your opponent overreact, because that's guaranteed damage. So you can see the fighter here, the 2 strike mechs, is really going to be difficult to deal with. You have to get a mech destroyer and slam down a turret here. You need the first turret and then you crawl with the turrets. So I use the first turret to guarantee the second turret. So you want to build it about here, I think. So it covers the Nova and this area and this farms. It's nice that he's killed off that fighter. That really slows down the progression of this. What Briggs can really do here is he just buy ore and get this other turret. He's gonna have to do it. He's starting it, but he needs to build it with much more workers than that, because he's gonna lose a couple while he's building it. You could try and hide them in the mech destroyer, hide them in the command center. Interesting mech destroyer sent here offensively from Magician. And he's managed to kill off all the workers here because he's just not gotten the turret. He could have built it a bit closer to the command center as well. Potentially even deleted this farm. He's managed to get a full surround on the mech destroyer. It's kind of snowballing out of control here for a Magician. I don't know if Briggs is really anything he can do. He's just getting outproduced here. Just not reacted well enough to defend. And most of it being a problem that he's created by just being so much slower than his opponent. And also being, you know, a couple of workers behind as well doesn't help. once your economy gets disrupted, it snowballs out of control, and as you can see, there's just so much more units than he's got. You can't handle it. So GG there. Magician takes game 1. And the next one. And this map is a landmass. Yep. Interesting island in the centre. So both on the Confederacy. Same colours again. Magician in the orange. Briggs in the purple. There's a few nerfs here. Eat the nerf, that's great. Put the rest in the nursery. There is a full lump that can be lured. See that Magician's lucky enough to have found his quite quickly. Doesn't need to eat a nerf. Can lure it instantly. Get the workers on that and start getting food income. A little bit far from the command centre, but you know, it's the thought that counts. Briggs picking up his extra nerfs here. This guy eating a little bit too close to the command centre in this instance. Can't get extra workers around him. Don't really need more than 5 though. These guys should be mining carbon rather than just standing idle. And he needs to find his full lumps. I see that Magician's just sort of getting everything quite a bit quicker than Briggs. He's got the T1 down a lot better. You know, already lured, got all of his nerfs housed. Oh my... Oh no. Oh, don't chase it with all of them. You need to shoot it and run, 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 don't shoot anymore. Fine, but what a disruption this has been. 10, 12, so 2 workers down again. It's really the biggest thing here for Briggs to improve on is just the T1, I think. And for Magician, luring things closer to the command centre. Deary me. So now it's just kicking about here. Right, I'm pretty sure Briggs has got 7, yeah. Because he's eaten 1. So you would start with 8th for both players. Landmass does have like extra ones that tend to be like kicking about. Usually somewhat like in the centre, but this one's kind of weird with this island. It's really cool, but there's just like nothing on the island, you know. It's not really a good enough strategic element to it. If it had like ore and nova and stuff, it would be fun. I guess there's a holocron, but it's not really cause enough for you to take the island and play around it. So we're going to need a carbon process. He's done it again. Has he got a phobia? Is this the optimal range or something? Am I playing the game wrong? This circle. This is the only way to where you should lure all your animals. Oh dear. Have you not seen these? He sees them now. It's going to be an annoying pathing. He's made it through. Just kill it there. Get the other one as well. This guy needs to... Another thing, rally points please. Carbon or food. There's 4 idle workers in T1. It's a long time. That and being behind workers as well. Devastating. You're setting yourself, making yourself lose race, basically. It's suicidal gameplay. See a troop centre going down here for Briggs. Kind of a weird choice. Looking at the map, takes a while to go anywhere. You've got to walk around. You maybe understand from his own gameplay that he's sort of behind as well. He hasn't really scouted his opponents. I don't know if it's like a preemptive sort of defensive maneuver, like, oh, what if he's rushing me? Because he didn't do that in the first game, we just went T3. And I think in this instance again, T3. particularly as the Confeds here. Unless you were doing early Mounties, and this is not quite early. I mean, look at the path he's chosen as well. I mean, this is shorter. He's starting to wall it. But like, the biggest strength of Mounties is, well, one, surprise, but two, speed. The less options your opponent has to defend it, the better it does. That's why they're best against an opponent still in T1 or very, very early T2. He's going to sneak around the map. You can maybe get some damage, I guess, with the element of surprise, but I wouldn't in this matchup, like on a map like this, like to be behind in tech in a Confed mirror when you could build a fort and make a Geonosian warriors, which are the killers of everything ground. It's such a strong unit. I think in any Confederacy mirror, kind of what you would be going for. It's either that or early Mounties. So he gets here onto the Nova. It's going to cause a bit of disruption. Pull the workers away, but you can kind of just weather the storm in T3 and I think punish him being ahead in tech. He's running the other side now, but this side's actually been walled. So what would have been best is getting onto that side early and stopping the wall going up in the first place. But he's committing hard to the Mounties. There's so many idols. Need lots of food to power this. Getting housed. Only one of them's building Mounties as well. It's got a heavy upgrade, which is great for the damage. I get War Center upgrades as well. I could get +1 and some armor, which will help with all the turret shots that they're taking. But I think Magician, oh yeah, he's almost T3 now. Doesn't have a power core yet. If we look at the money, he's got so much resources. He can do whatever he wants when he goes T3. So he hits T3 now. There's not really a threat of him dying to the pressure that Briggs is putting on. He is almost set up to tech. These guys are still idle. Never got the second full ump either. A lot of workers doing nothing. He's killed the wall. He needs to get these guys involved and doing some damage rather than sitting on the wall. Going for the power core, but Magician does repair it. He's got the strike mech out now, and he can look to counter attack once he's cleared up these Mounties. Will buy time for Briggs here though to get to T3 if he ever pushed the button. I think he's been able to push that button for a while. I actually thought he'd be hitting T3 about now, so that's another mistake I think. Built some anti-air troopers, which is good for the fighters that will be coming out. Magician committed to cleaning things up here, but oh no, he is straight onto the aggression now. He sees that this is his window to pressure Briggs back. Unfortunately, those anti-air troopers are going to get quickly killed off by the strike mechs, since there's nothing to deal with them. We maybe need a turret with how far behind he is here in tech time. You're going to have to hide the workers, wait to get to T3 and then build a mech destroyer. Unfortunately, his carbon income has been halted, so he'll need to rely on the spaceport, I think, to get the funds to build the mech destroyer. Let's see, back at home, Magician can probably build a command center somewhere. Or maybe he's going to go and build a fort. Not sure what those workers are up to. Turret placed here on the ore in this carbon. He's trying to build a second turret here. Not really too sure I understand why we build them here rather than building them here where all the workers were. If you're going to build them in the first place. A bomber coming through, which is really going to kill Briggs off, to be honest. Because there's no way to stop it. The strike mechs can just camp the anti-air troopers. Could maybe kill it in this window when he's not paying attention, but he loses his power core, which is kind of just disaster now for him. Yeah, those workers did build a command center down here. Grabbing up that Nova pile. I'm not really too sure I see an out here for Briggs. I think Magician's going to take this series 2-0. Just stuck in the command centre, no power core. Late, and if we look at the resource distribution as well, I can't really afford it. It's trying to build a mech destroyer, but to be honest, there's nothing to keep the mech destroyer alive. Can't compete with a T3 tank. I think that Briggs just needs to work on his T1, speed things up a bit, get them a bit more optimal, and it will give himself a lot more room to do what he wants to do in the game and actually have a very effective harass with his mounties. But anyway, GG. Magician takes the series 2-0, and as I said, if you want to join the GBG Discord, you'll find a link in the description, and we'll keep covering these games until the finals. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.